BingX, a trusted global crypto exchange. Trade spot, futures, or copy top traders easily. Sign up via the link or referral code to get 30 USDT instantly, plus up to 1,500 USDT in bonuses for verification, deposit, and trading.
Israeli soldiers have spoken out about a chaotic environment in Gaza, marked by a breakdown of established norms and legal safeguards, where civilian lives are allegedly taken at the discretion of individual officers. According to testimony featured in a forthcoming television documentary, the program, titled Breaking Ranks: Inside Israel's War, set to air in the UK on Monday evening, includes accounts from Israel Defense Forces (IDF) members describing a situation where the rules of engagement appear to have been significantly loosened. Daniel, the commander of an IDF tank unit, states within the documentary that the prevailing atmosphere allows soldiers to shoot without restraint if you want to. Some IDF soldiers participating in the documentary requested anonymity, while others spoke on record. A common thread running through their testimonies is the perceived erosion of the official code of conduct regarding civilians. These soldiers also reportedly confirmed the IDF's routine use of human shields, contradicting official denials, and provided details of Israeli troops opening fire without provocation on civilians attempting to access food handouts. These distribution points were established by the Gaza Humanitarian Foundation, which is reportedly backed by both the US and Israel. Captain Yotam Vilk, an armored corps officer, referenced the IDF's basic training, which emphasizes means, intent, and ability as prerequisites for firing, meaning a soldier can only shoot if the target possesses the means, shows intent, and has the ability to cause harm. However, Vilk asserts that there's no such thing as means, intent, and ability in Gaza. He explains that soldiers rarely, if ever, mention these guidelines, instead acting on what he described as a suspicion of walking where it's not allowed. A man aged between 20 and 40, another soldier, identified in the program as Eli, stated that life and death isn't determined by procedures or opening fire regulations. It's the conscience of the commander on the ground that decides. Eli further elaborated that in these circumstances, the designation of who constitutes an enemy or terrorist becomes arbitrary. He described scenarios where individuals are deemed suspicious for walking too fast, too slow, or exhibiting what might be misinterpreted as a military formation. Eli recounted a specific incident where a senior officer ordered a tank to demolish a building in an area designated as safe for civilians. The officer allegedly identified a man hanging laundry on the roof as a spotter, despite clear visual evidence to the contrary. Eli questioned how this man could have been a spotter given his activity and the significant distance to the nearest military force, which was between 600 and 700 meters away. Nevertheless, the tank fired a shell, resulting in the partial collapse of the building and numerous casualties. This testimony comes amid previous analyses, including a Guardian investigation in August of IDF intelligence data, which suggested that Israeli military officials themselves acknowledged that 83% of those killed in Gaza were civilians, a figure described as a historic high for modern conflicts. Though the IDF disputed this analysis, the conflict has resulted in the deaths of over 69,000 Palestinians, with the casualties continuing to rise even after a ceasefire commenced a month prior. In response to these allegations, the IDF issued a written statement asserting its commitment to the rule of law and its operation in accordance with legal and ethical obligations, despite what it described as unprecedented operational complexity due to Hamas's alleged embedding within civilian infrastructure and its use of civilian sites for military purposes. Some soldiers interviewed for the documentary revealed that their actions were influenced by the rhetoric of Israeli politicians and religious leaders following the Hamas attacks on October 7, 2023, which resulted in approximately 1,200 Israeli and foreign national deaths. Language emerged suggesting that every Palestinian was a legitimate target. A UN commission had previously concluded in September that Israel had committed genocide in Gaza, pointing to incitement from Israeli leaders as evidence of intent. President Isaac Herzog, for example, was quoted shortly after the October 7 attacks saying, "It is an entire nation out there that is responsible. It is not true. This rhetoric about civilians not aware, not involved, it's absolutely not true." Daniel, the tank unit commander featured in the documentary, stated that this rhetoric, suggesting there were no innocent individuals in Gaza, permeated the army ranks, leading soldiers to eventually believe it. A spokesperson for President Herzog, however, asserted that the Israeli president has consistently advocated for humanitarian causes and the protection of innocents. The documentary also presents evidence of similar views being propagated by some rabbis within the military. Major Netta Caspin shared an account of a brigade rabbi explaining why soldiers must act like those on October 7th, advocating for revenge against all Palestinians, including civilians, and emphasizing the need to not discriminate. Extremist Jewish cleric Rabbi Avraham Zarbiv, who reportedly served over 500 days in Gaza, is quoted in the program stating, "Everything there is one big terrorist infrastructure." Zarbiv is credited in the documentary with not only providing religious justification for the mass demolition of Palestinian neighborhoods but also personally operating military bulldozers and claiming credit for pioneering a tactic adopted by the IDF. He asserts, "The IDF invests hundreds of thousands of shekels to destroy the Gaza Strip. We changed the conduct of an entire army." The soldiers contributing to breaking ranks also corroborated consistent reports throughout the protracted conflict regarding the use of Palestinian civilians as human shields, a practice informally known as the Mosquito Protocol. Daniel, the tank commander, described how human shields were sent underground into tunnels with iPhones to transmit GPS data, effectively mapping the tunnels for the IDF. He stated that commanders observed the effectiveness of this method, and the practice quickly spread throughout units. The IDF, in its statement, reiterated that it prohibits the use of civilians as human shields or coercion to participate in military operations, and that these orders are regularly emphasized. The military also stated that allegations of misconduct are thoroughly examined, and investigations are opened when specific details are provided, noting that several investigations involving the suspected involvement of Palestinians in military missions remain ongoing. The makers of Breaking Ranks also interviewed a contractor, identified only as Sam, who worked at food distribution sites run by the GHF. Sam claims to have witnessed the IDF killing unarmed civilians. He recounted an incident where two young men were shot and killed by soldiers while running to collect aid, describing how their heads snapped backward upon being hit. He also described an IDF tank destroying a civilian vehicle containing 4 people near a distribution site. According to UN figures, at least 944 Palestinian civilians have been killed while seeking aid near GHF sites. Both the GHF and the IDF have denied targeting civilians at aid distribution sites, and the IDF maintains that it operates in accordance with international law and implements measures to minimize civilian harm in its operations against Hamas. The IDF was approached for comment regarding the allegations made in the Breaking Ranks documentary. The report notes that internal investigations into incidents involving the killing of civilians have historically resulted in minimal disciplinary or legal accountability. The documentary also sheds light on the significant mental toll the conflict is taking on some soldiers. Daniel expresses in the program his feeling that the conflict has destroyed his pride in being an Israeli and an IDF officer, leaving him with only shame. Breaking Ranks, Inside Israel's War is scheduled to air in